According to the documentary Dam Nation, there are over 80,000 dams currently in the U.S., and only 31% of these dams are actually producing power. Dams leave an impact on everyone. They might be powering your house right now, or maybe they even diverted the water that farmers use to grow your food. A study done in Washington on Icicle Creek says that most dams, around 85% in the U.S., will have surpassed their operational lifespan by 2020. I have spent a lot of time on the river and around it, and have experienced firsthand what these dams do. I've seen how they control flows and the quality of the water. Based on what I've learned and observed, I now know that dams have a negative impact on rivers. Now, I don't think there's such a thing as a good dam. That being said, there are a lot of dams that people rely on for living. Rivers are always moving and changing with the environment. On any given stream, there's constant movement of sediment throughout the stream bed. When dams are put in, the sediment is prevented from moving downstream and causes to build up behind these dams. During the Icicle Creek study, they found that behind the 4 dams, there's significant sediment built up, which caused the rivers to become very narrow and a lot of sand to build up, which created a lot of marshes. With no sediment being able to move downstream, that also means there's less nutrients available to the ecosystem. Healthy streams and healthy salmon populations go hand in hand. Every year, salmon migrate upstream to spawn, only to be met by huge concrete walls. True, there are fish ladders, but those only help so much. A study done by Wendy Nicole on the Elwha River in Washington shows that no fish ladders were built on these streams, preventing any salmon from being able to migrate up. The summer after the dam removal, salmon were already spawning in the tributaries that hadn't been spawned in for over a century. Not only that, but the sediment that had been built up behind the dam was starting to flow downstream, rehabitating and making the Elwha River healthy again. It's easy to look back and say we shouldn't have built this many dams, or we should have studied their impact more, but hindsight's always 20/20. We built dams for a lot of reasons. They provide hydroelectric power, they control floods, and they can move water for farmers and drinking. After the Great Depression, they seemed like a great idea. America is growing, and we needed to power it, we need to give people water, and they provided jobs. On top of it all, hydroelectric power is thought to be clean energy. Everything seemed to be perfect. But here we are, a century later, looking at unhealthy streams and replenishing some salmon populations. Hydroelectric power is not clean energy. When you slow down the flow of a stream, it warms the water, decreasing the water quality. When dams don't release water, it dries up the stream bed, killing everything. And the surges from a dam release can be very damaging, not only to riparian zones, but to fish habitats. We built these dams mainly for power, but we also wanted to control the water. Floods can be devastating and unexpected. We wanted to control this by taking out the natural flow of the water. Dams help prevent floods that destroy towns and farms. And not to mention, during drought years, the water held behind dams can be used for everything. We can divert the water and energy saved from dams for miles. This allows us to sustain our population and live in areas like Arizona and California and Nevada. Again, this all sounds really good, but did you know that last year, the Colorado River reached the Sea of Cortez for the first time in over a decade? There are alternatives to hydroelectric power. Only 31% of dams are producing power. It's time for a change. With this statistic, there's an easy solution. Start to remove dams, especially the ones that aren't serving a purpose. Both the dams on the Elwha River were fully functional before their removal, and now the stream is healthier and better off. Rivers need to be natural, free-flowing, and they need to be able to sustain life. Once this happens, salmon populations will be able to thrive. And with increased salmon populations, we also can help feed everyone, since they're always replacing themselves every year. Now, dam removal is a lot easier said than done. It's easy to think you could just blow up a dam and then not have to worry about it ever again, just watch it float downstream. But with the sediment built up behind dams, removing it all at once will cause it all to flow downstream, decreasing the water quality and threatening fish populations. The study done on Icicle Creek showed that if you were to flush little bits of sediment at a time before the dam removal, that it wouldn't impact the water quality at all. Dam removal is a long process. It takes a lot of time and thinking. On the Elwha River, it took decades of both debating and planning of how it would affect not only the habitat, but the community around it. It's a long process, and it takes a long time, but in the end, it's a step forward. People need to be aware of how dams are affecting them. They play a negative impact on river habitat. They block free-flowing streams, which causes sediment to build up behind dams, decreasing water quality. We built these dams to help us with our everyday lives, but didn't realize that a healthy free-flowing river is better than destroying it. With the amount of useless dams and the advances in clean energy, it's time to start taking out useless dams. I urge you to research how a dam is affecting you and your local community. Think about if it's worth it to destroy an ecosystem for what we get in return. I'm not saying we should destroy every dam tomorrow, but we need to start thinking about our future.
Very good. Thank you.